the crypto market's taking a minor little dump again here. And it's just par for the course. But I wanted to give an update as to what's really driving the market right now. Bitcoin had dropped down to 104. It has really good support at around 103. But if we do lose that support at 103, the next level is going to be roughly around 97, 98,000. That's where next level support is. What I would expect if it does do a drop like that, I would expect it to spike back up fairly quickly and bounce off of that. This is all based off of fears of the regional bank, potential regional bank failures. And this goes back to 2023, big bank failures. And then, the Federal Reserve and the banking system, they kind of got backstopped a little bit and protected, so there wasn't some major collapse. But now there's fears of that again. And with that, of course, you have gold setting record highs and silver setting record highs. The Dow's actually up a few hundred points today. Bitcoin is now at 106.5 from its low of around 104. So it hasn't dropped too much. There's a couple altcoins that dropped a little bit. Bitcoin Cash was one of them. But most of them are only down a couple of percent, 2-3%, some 6-7%. Nothing major, obviously, in the crypto space. It's pretty much par for the course what you get when you have these little events. And it's Friday, so you have to have those scares on Friday, just like last Friday when we had that crash, right? That major crash that happened a couple hours from now, like around late evening time or early evening time when that crash happened. Don't expect we're going to have anything like that, but be ready. Something like that could happen. Something could get triggered. We could have another flush out. And if we do have another flush out, I still expect a fairly quick rebound here. We may push this 97, 98, and I don't want you to worry if that does happen because we will rebound very quickly from that. There's just too much support down there, and there's too many bullish things going on. And let's talk about some of those bullish things. What's going on next? We have, I think, the Federal Reserve meeting around October 28th. That is going to be another rate drop. There's a 95% chance of a quarter point rate drop and around a 3% chance of a half point rate drop, according to Polymarket. So that we're going to have some good bullishness from that. That'd be the second rate drop, which will give us a half a point. And then the next one's going to be in December. And looking at all the data that comes out, we don't have too much now because the government data isn't going on because of the shutdown, but things are progressing to where that's going to, Federal Reserve and the banking system is going to need to be backstopped even more. So they're going to turn on the money printers. The printing is going to continue, and this is going to go on all through 2026, I would expect, or at least through the first half of 2026. I think they're going to have the money printers on full tilt. And then when you get to next March, where Powell's term is up, and Trump's going to put a very Trump-friendly new Federal Reserve chairman in there who will reduce the rates much, much further. And that'll further exacerbate everything, drive silver and gold prices up even further, drive Bitcoin prices up even further too. And that could mark our third peak of Bitcoin for this cycle. And I would expect that if that does happen, let's say there's a big rate drop or they drop it 1 or 2% over a short period of time, that once that happens, Bitcoin's going to skyrocket, gold and silver will continue to skyrocket. All risk on assets go up. The stock market's going to go up. Obviously, all the cryptos and real estate will go up along with it. And I think that we're going to try to keep rates down on real estate, which will in turn spur the real estate market as well, because more buyers will be able to come in there. That hopefully the rate of inflation is kept up with wages, because if not, it speaks trouble for everything, especially for the real estate side of things, where if wages are only going up half the amount of inflation is going up, then people still can't afford to buy a new house, and rents aren't going to go up so drastically. So they're just ending up being more renters, I would believe. But that's where we're headed next year. The melt up will continue. Expect inflation. Hopefully it's not rapid inflation. Hopefully it's just incremental inflation. Hopefully it helps all risk on assets. Obviously, a lot of people are going to need to be in these risk on assets. I do own silver and gold, more silver than gold. And I'm not buying anymore. It was always kind of like an insurance policy. This is what I'm going to be betting on for the most part here. And then I'll probably get into the stock market a bit here too, and just buy more real estate, because real estate's the most tax advantaged asset there is out there. But that's what's going on here in the market. That's what's driving everything. There's, between the regional banks and what's going on, the economic side of things with the U.S. here, with the trade wars with China, with the tariffs and all that, that should get resolved. And I think when Trump and Xi get together, and I think they're supposed to meet in the next week or so, I think they'll have some kind of a framework of an agreement together at that point or somewhere around then. And that will really spur the markets even further. I expect that could be a really big trigger for the crypto side of things. And again, that gets into where we're getting close to November, and I expect alt season to really start to go full tilt then. But remember, Bitcoin needs to hit its new all-time high. Ethereum needs to get its new all-time high and get to that 5,000 plus range. And then I think we'll see full-fledged all season, because people will sell out of Bitcoin and Ethereum and move into altcoins. And remember, those market caps are so much smaller. So if a decent amount of money's flooding into altcoins from Bitcoin and Ethereum, plus retail comes in, it's going to really spur the market, and we're going to get some really great growth on that. All right, guys, I will update you as we have anything new. If we have any kind of a crash or flash crash or anything beyond this little drop that we have here, I'll be on here. Catch you guys in the next one.